Alright, we are back with Phantasy Star Sega Ages Edition for the PS2. We left off, we are going to go get Dr. Rubino from the prison outside town here on Palma. So we got some enemies here called Sukeduton Skeleton. That is a Serpental serpent. And these are a Kida Pudanto killer plant. Alright, so here we are in the prison. And we got this guy coming to talk to us. He is called Roboto Polisu. Robot Police. And he says, Mikaken, I don't see. Denshu Dana. You guys are, huh? Shin Iri no. Newcomer. Kanji ka. Are you a guard? Kagi wa. The key. Motteiru na. You have it, right? So he says, you guys are unfamiliar, huh? Are you newcomer guards? You have the key, right? Yes, we do. Hi. And he says, Yoshi. Okay. Toteizo. You can go through, it's okay. So he says, alright, go on through. Alright. And then let's check out this cave. Oh, it's prison. Oh, it does have enemies though. So this is Tarantiura tarantula. More skeletons. Right. That is our guy, Dr. Rubeno. So, Rubeno Hakase, Dr. Rubeno, he says, Kanimo, indeed. Washiga, we have that old man speak washi instead of watashi. So I, washiga, Rubeno ja, am Rubeno. Jaga, however, Tasuke nadu, help. Irani, I don't need. Yoke na, meddlesome. Osewaja, it's meddling. So he says, indeed, I am Dr. Rubeno, but I don't need any help. It's unnecessary meddling. And he says, Nanja to, what did you say? Spaceship o? Spaceship? Tsukure ja to? You say to build? Baka o, fool. You monjanai, you shouldn't say. He says, what did you say? You want me to build a spaceship? Don't say foolish things. He says, Kono washiga, this old man, sonna koto, such a thing, hikiukeru to demo. You think I would undertake? Omotoru no ka. Do you think? Matakumote, absolutely keshikaran, outrageous. Me, this old man, undertake such a thing? You think? Absolutely outrageous. So he says, no, which is just sort of like a sound of frustration. And then, korinu, incorrigible. Yatsura ja no u, they are, aren't they? Shikata arumai, there's no helping it. He says, ugh, they're incorrigible, aren't they? Can't be helped. Onushitachi. You all, that's an interesting one. It's very respectful. Onushitachi. You all, washino, my, iukoto ga, words. Hikeru njaro na, will you listen, won't you? Sore naraba. If that's the case, then kangaete, think, yatte, to do, mo yoiga, is good, but, so I might consider doing it for you, but, dojana, how about it? Yakusoku, promise, dekiru, kano, can you promise? He says, you all, you will listen to what I say, won't you? If that's the case, I might consider doing it for you, but how about it? Can you promise? I will say, hi. Yosh. Okay. Mazu wa, first of all, washi o mi koko kara, from here, tasukedeshi, rescue, gashiko no, of gashiko, kenkyujo ni, to the research lab, kai shi tokure, please let me return. So he says, all right, first of all, rescue me from here and let me return to the Gashiko research lab. And then he says, Sugini, next. To omotu ka, I thought, but ma yoi, it's fine. Tonikaku, anyway. Suguni, immediately. Junbi, to the preparations. Torikakaritai, I want to start. Imasuguni, right now. Masaka, surely not. Dekino to wa, you cannot do. Mo senai na, you wouldn't say, would you? So he says, I thought, but never mind. Anyway, I want to get to work on preparations immediately. Rescue me right now. Surely you wouldn't say you can't do it, would you? And then Lutz says, Wakarimashita, I understand. Watashi ga, I, o hikyuke, undertake, shimashou, will do, let's do. He says, I understand, we will undertake it. Meow says, Ino kai. Is it okay, or are you sure? Konna wagamama jisan no, such a selfish old man. You told me, just as he says, Shichatte-sa, having done it, he says, so Meow says, is it okay just doing as such a selfish old man says? Uh-oh, he's not gonna like this one. So he says, Nanjana, what is it? Nani ka itakana? Did someone say something? Neko-kun? A little cat? Or diminutive honorific. Kun. Now, I think this is a pun here. Um, he's saying nanimo, which is nothing, but he said nyan nimo, which is nyan is the onomatopoeia for Japanese cat sound. So there was that really famous cat with like the bread neon cat. So Meow is making a pun here where he's saying both nothing and meow at the same time, and his name is Meow. So it's kind of a double entendre or a pun here. And he says, Yoroshi. Very well. Sore dewa. Well then. Tanoman jazo. I'm counting on you, you know. Very well then. I'm counting on you then. And Lutz says, hi. Yes. We rescued him from his prison. And he wants us to go back to Gashiku Town. Uh-oh. And take him back to his lab. So now we have a new enemy. Roboto Polisu. Robot Police. Now, these guys were said to be very hard. I think we're pretty over leveled, but let's give them a try and see how we do here. Yep, he's pretty rough. Alright, let's see what we got here. Where Meow has froze. Hit him with fire, ice, and wind and see what he's weak to, if anything. Oh, that wasn't that bad. Okay. I think we can just auto attack these guys. We're doing about 30, 40 no matter what we're doing. Oof. Let's do a little healing magic here. Alice is level 28, Meow is level 28, and Tyrone is level 28. So, decent place to grind. Come back here. Those things are not worth their time in XP. Alright, let's go check out the research lab. Give our dudes a heal too. Dr. Rubano. So, we are speaking with Rubano Hakase again. Dr. Rubano. And he says, oh, which is just oh. And then, Osokata no. You were late, weren't you? So, oh, you were late, weren't you? And he says, Sasokuja ga immediately, but Washi no my Joshu o assistant Tsurete kite kure, bring him or her here. Chikado ni, in the underground passage. Yes, this is the weird guy we talked to earlier, the shifty guy. Kakurete iru hazu ja. He should be hiding. Spaceship no, of the spaceship. Hanashi wa, the story. Sore kara ja. It's after that. So he says, immediately bring me my assistant. He should be hiding in the underground passage. The spaceship talk is after that. Alright, well, that'll be an easy request, hopefully. He was just on a little side passage here. His name was Nazo. And he says, what? Rubeno Hakase ga? Dr. Rubeno kaete kitate. He came back. Sonna, such bakana, foolish. Itai, what on earth? Doyate, by what means? So he says, Dr. Rubeno came back, you say? That's ridiculous. How on earth? And Miao says, Ore tachi ni, for us, fukano, the impossible, wa, nai, there isn't. So Miao says, for us, there is no impossible. And then he says, ku, which I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's just a cat noise. Kimatta, it's decided. Ne Arisa, right, Alice? And Alice, respectful as always, says, Nazo-san, Mr. Nazo, or respectful Nazo. Rubeno Hakase ga Dr. Rubeno Joshu Toshite as an assistant. Tetsudate, to help. Hoshi to, he wants. Do saremasu ka, what will you do? He says, Alice says, Mr. Naji, Dr. Rubeno wants you to help as an assistant. What will you do? And he says, Mochiron, okay. So, of course, okay. And then he ends it with the sa, which is just sort of an exclamation. He says, Space Shipu, Mata first. Again, Space Shipu, o, a spaceship. Tsukuri hajimeru nda na. You're going to start building, aren't you? He says, of course, okay. So you're going to start building the spaceship, aren't you? Yoshikita. Alright, you came. Kenkyu Kaihatsu wa. Research and development. That's a big mouthful. Mo nido to, never again. Dekinai to, and I can't do it. Momote sa, I was thinking, Oteage jotai de, in a state of giving up. Do shio kato, what should I do? Omote ta da yo, I was thinking, So he says, all right, you came. I was thinking I could never do research and development again, I was completely at a loss, wondering what to do, And he kind of holds this and says, Yoshi. So, okay. Soto kimeraba. If it's decided that way. Seisaku kaishi da. It's the start of production. And he says, if it's decided that way, let's start production immediately. And he says, Kimitachi, you all, with like a familiar tone. Arigato, thank you. Boku wa, I, masculine. Saki ni, first. Kaeteru yo, going back. Soreja, well then. Unfinished. So you guys, thank you. I'm going back ahead. So then, and then he takes off. Alright, we got the assistant. Let's go back to the research lab. He says, Rubeno Hakase says, Dr. Rubeno says, Joshino, my assistant, Najimo, Naji also, Modota, returned. Korere, now with this, Spaceshipu no, of the spaceship, Kaihatsu Kenkyū, development research. Saikai Dekiruzo, we can resume. So he says, my assistant Naji has returned. Now we can resume the spaceship development research. He says, Kaihatsu Shikin ni, for development funds, 5,000 meseta ga, 5,000 meseta, hitsuyo nanja ga, is necessary, but yakusoku dori ni, according to the promise, tsugo shite, arrange, moraeru jaro na, you will receive, won't you? So he says 5,000 meseta is necessary for development funds, but you will arrange it according to the promise, won't you? Hai. Yoroshi. And he says, all right then. Nanimono, absolutely nothing. Shinpai shinasana, don't worry at all. Washito, I and Joshu, assistant, ga yaru to itara, if we say we'll do it, kanarazu, surely, without fail, yarunja, we will do it. Sonwa, loss, sasenzo, I won't let you. Very well, don't you worry about a thing. If I and my assistant say we'll do it, we'll surely do it. I won't let you incur any loss. Should we go outside? Oh. Probably just talk to him again. So he says, ho ho ho, so se kasu na, don't rush me. Ase temo, even if imono wa, good things, dekin, cannot be done. Kaho wa, good fortune. Nete mate, sleep and wait. To wa, as for yoku ita monja, it's a well said thing. He says, ho ho ho, don't rush me so much. Even if you hurry, good things can't be made. Good fortune comes to those who wait, the saying goes. Alright. So... Okay, and he's got a new name. Nazo Joshu, which is Nazo assistant. And he says, So, yeah, Nazo. Kotai Nenryo de Ikuka. Go with solid fuel or de Ekitai Nenryo de Ikuka. Go with liquid fuel or Sorega, that mondai na dana. That's the problem, isn't it? So he says, go with solid fuel or liquid fuel. That's the problem, isn't it? He's still saying wait. Maybe we have to exhaust this guy's dialogue. He's still saying the same thing. Let's talk to the party and see what they have to say. He says, Hiya, spaceship te takai n da ne. So he says, whoa, spaceships are expensive, aren't they? And Lutz says, Tashkani, certainly. Daga, but Keshite, never. Takai kaimono dewa, with an expensive purchase. Nai hazu da, it shouldn't be. Naze nara, because watashi tachi wa, we, okane dewa, with money. Kaenai, cannot buy. Heiwa o, peace. Tsukamu tame ni, in order to grasp. Doryoku shiteiru, are making an effort or striving. No dakara, because it is that. So he says, but it definitely shouldn't be an expensive purchase because we are striving to obtain peace, which cannot be bought with money. And Miao says, Hehe, ii koto, good point. Lots. You, Janka. Lots. Good point, you say, don't you, Lutz? Okay. Yeah, he's still saying the same thing. Don't rush me. This is where I'm not super thrilled with this version of Phantasy Star, because it's moments like these where it's pretty obtuse. Not really clear what it wants you to do. We gave him the money. We leave. No Or we have to go to another town at some point to get the robot. He's saying the same thing. Alright, well, let's go to that town. It is... Alright, so we forgot to read the names of these last time. So we have a Scorpidasu, Scorpiras, and a Manticore, Manticore, and a Kudayon, Cryon. Phantasy Star is always really hard with the kana because they have gibberish words in their own language, and then some of them are just like what they are. Like, that's a Manticore, you know. The other one's some kind of Batman, and I think the earlier ones were called Batman, but I don't know what a Cryon is. I'm pretty familiar with nerd stuff. Kudayon. Whoops. Wrong button. Sharkin, maybe? This guy is a Mashizu. Mashizu. What's the name of the town? Barutebo Nomura. The town of Barutebo. So we need to come here, I know, for all these junk piles. Are. Let's see what we have to say about the junk piles. Nani ima now nanika ga something ugoita yo na, like it moved. Kiga shita kedo, felt like it, but masaka, surely not. Ki no sei yo ne. It's just my imagination, right? Same dialogue. Meow says, Nande, why? Daremo, no one. Katazukenai da isn't cleaning up. Kono mama ja, if it stays like this, gomi yashiki ni, it will become a trash house. Nachauzo, you know? So he says, why isn't anyone cleaning up? If it stays like this, it will become a trash house, you know? And this guy named Makuri says, oh, omotsu, heavy. Ore wa I, tabi no, of travel. Gyo shonin, traveling merchant. Tanomu, please, I beg you, nanika, something. Katte kurenai ka, won't you buy for me? So he says, heavy. I'm a traveling merchant. Please, won't you buy even just something? Sure, let's see what you got. You have a naifu, which is not good. And you have a Ayan Ama, which we already have on Tyrone. And you have a Daito Su light suit, which I believe Alice is already wearing. Yep. And then you have an Iron Shirudo, Iron Shield, which we can give to Tyrone for a nice boost. Alright, we will buy something. Have to equip it, yes. 500 for the old one, sure. Okay. So we have Lutz saying Jinrui no of humanity, Tomito, wealth, and Haneyo, prosperity, Sasaeta, supported, Kage no, of the shadows, or hidden, Korosha, person of merit or contributor, Sorega, that, Kono Kikai Tachi, these machines, Nan no kamo shirenai, perhaps it is. So he says, the hidden contributors who supported humanity's wealth and prosperity, perhaps that's what these machines are. It's very cryptic, Lutz. Okay. Tyrone has to say, Haiki sareta, discarded or abandoned. Robot polisu no, of the robot police. Zangai ka, they are wreckage, aren't they? Sukurapu okiba, junkyard. To iu yori wa, rather than saying ma-san, precisely. Hakaba dana, it's a graveyard, isn't it? So he says, are these the remains of discarded robot police? It's not so much a junkyard as it is a graveyard, isn't it? It's dark. You guys are getting dark. This guy, whose name is Toresu Trace, says, Kimi wa, you, Kaminito kara kita ndate? You came from Kaminito, didn't you? Soreja, well, as it happens, Oku no Ani-san, Nisan Tachi, my older brothers, Shiteiru daro, you probably know. Uno to dosu, yeah, we met those. Te iun da kedo, they're called Uno and Dosu, but Kyojukuni, to the residential area. Kaetara, if you return, Yoroshiku tsutaete kureyo na, please give them my regards, okay? He says, well, then you probably know my older brothers. They're called Uno and Dos. Oh, that makes sense now. Okay, when you return to the residential area, please give them my regards. His name is Trace, so it's Uno Dos Trace. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, so he says, Sore ni shite mo, even so, ano, that Yogan Ike, or lava pond, watate kita ndaro, you came across, didn't you? Taihen dattaro ni, it must have been tough. Nanika, something. Norimono ga, a vehicle. Areba, if there were. Benri nan da kedona, it would be convenient, but, it says, even so, you crossed that lava pond to get here, didn't you? It must have been tough. If there were some kind of vehicle, it would be convenient, but... And we've exhausted his dialogue. So we've spoken to Uno, Dos, and Trace now. This guy we have not spoken to. His name is Regus. Regus. And he says, Kimitachi, you all, scrap, arashi kai. Are you scrap scavengers? Dattara, if that's the case, then Minogasu wake ni wa ikanai yo. I can't let you get away with it. He says, you guys, are you scrap scavengers? And if that's the case, I can't let you get away with it. And Meow says, Chigaotsu. It's wrong. Hennakoto. Weird things. Iu na yona. Don't say. So he says, kind of stammers. That's what that is. It says chigao zo. And that zo is really emphasized with the katakana. So he says, chigao zo? No, that's wrong. Don't say weird things, you know. And we've exhausted his dialogue. We got a little house here with a guy whose name is Garingu. He says, Konamura ni. What business do you have in such a village? Konamura ni. What in the village, in this village? Nan no yodai. What business? Monozuki na. Curious. Benshu na. What a bunch. He says, what business do you have in such a village? Honestly, what a curious bunch they are. And he just repeats that. Okay. Alright, then we've talked to everybody and inspected all the scrap. I think. we get this scrap? I don't think we are at this one. So Alice says, "Sore ni shitemo," even though "sugoi ryo ne," it's an amazing amount, isn't it? "Nani ka otakara ga," some treasure. "Umorete iru no kashira," I wonder if it's buried. She says, "Even so, what an amazing amount. I wonder if some treasure is buried here." Let's check the item shop here. What you got? We got Pilori Mate. We got Roginin. Tori Trimate. Oh. Right, we gotta sell some stuff. We don't need this much Polarymate or Rogaine. Soul Atomizer, let's keep that. Searchlight, we'll keep that. Rogaine, get rid of. Polarymate, we can get rid of. Escape Cross, we don't need Escape Cross. Atlas, we do need, okay. Trimate, I'll get a couple. And then we have Antidote, Anti-Paralysis, Atlas, and Searchlight. Let's get a couple Atlases. So we'll use Alice's spell. Torupa to go to, oh boy, where is Ueno? He's in Gashiko. Gashiko no Mura. Alright, buddy, we've given you some time. Please don't say ho ho ho. Ah. Okay. So he still wants us to wait. What about this guy? Has he figured out solid or liquid fuel yet? No, he has not. Let's exhaust everybody's dialogue, even though we already have. Oh yeah, he had the light pendant. Is there something in here we need to interact with? Do we need to reset? Let's try a reset. Alright, it took a reset, I guess. So he says, Gorokobe, rejoice, be happy. Spaceship ga, the spaceship, Tsuini, finally, at last, Kansei Shitazo, is completed. Sono namo, the name is also Rubeno go. The Rubeno. Okay. The spaceship is finally completed. Its name is also the Rubeno. Okay. Jaga, but Omae-san tachi ni, you guys, soju suru koto wa, operating it. Dekin cannot do. Hapsby to iu, a robot called Hapsby. Roboto o sagasunja, we will search for. Ano, that roboto nara, if it's that robot. Dekiru karu na, it can operate, you see. So he says, but you guys can't operate it. We'll search for a robot called Hapsby. That robot can operate it, you see. And Meow says, again with lots of kana. He says, Jitsu, which is, not sure. Hontoni, really or truly, but very emphasized. Kansai Shita no Kana. I wonder if it's really completed. Nanka, something. Ayashi in da yone. It's suspicious, you know. Kono, this. Ji-san, old man or grandpa. So Meow says, I wonder if it's really completed. Somehow it's suspicious, you know, this old man. Alright, we need Hapsby, which we're gonna get at that other town, which is called Borutebo Nomura. So we saw this one move. We saw it move. I guess not. Oh, here we go. It's the one Alice was talking about. So she says, Skurapuga, the scrap. Ippai ne, There's a lot, isn't there? Konna naki ni, inside such a place, honto ni, truly, hapsbi ga, hapsbi, aru no kashira? I wonder if it is there. So she says, there's a lot of scrap, isn't there? I wonder if Hapsby is really in a place like this. Let's try the one that moved. Nope, still nothing. Cycle through them again. Gotta talk to Guringu. That's Trace. Nope. Makudai. Oh yeah, he's the merchant. Guringu. Alright, so this is who we need to talk to. He says, Kokowa, this place, Barutebo no Mura, Barutebo village, Skurapu Okiba Toka, is like a junkyard. Kikai no Hakaba Nante, a graveyard for machines, or something like that. Says, Mataku, really or truly. Kate na hanashida, it's a selfish story. Dareka ga, someone. Dokoka de, somewhere. Koshita, such or like this. Hiki toranai to, if someone doesn't take them away. Kono uchu wa, this universe. Gomi ni, in the trash. Umorite shimao, it will end up being buried. Konomura wa, this village. Sono yakuwari o, that role. Ninateiru no sa, is playing. So he says, honestly, what a selfish story. If someone somewhere doesn't take away this waste, this universe will end up being buried in trash. This village is playing that role, you see. Okay, so Dagus says, but hitotsu dake, only one hoho ga way aru there is. Here we go, okay. Laconia igai no, other than Laconia, Bushitsu o, material, Zenbu, all or everything, Tokashichimao no sa, will melt it all away, you see. So Surya, if we do that, Ato ni nokoru no wa, what remains afterward, Moku teki no, of the purpose or intended, Monodake, only the things. Dodai, how about it? What do you think? Kantan daro, it's easy, right? He says, we'll just melt away all the material other than Laconia, you see. If we do that, only the intended stuff will remain. How about it? Easy, right? And he says, Daga na, but, you know, Mondai wa, the problem, doyate aru no kate koto da, is how to do it. Sorega, if we wakareba, if we understand that, kudo wa, hardship, nainda kedo na, there wouldn't be any but. Garingu nara, if it's garingu, nanika, something, shiteiru kamo na, might know. So he says, but, you know, the problem is how to do it. If we understood that, there wouldn't be any trouble, but maybe Gerling or Garing knows something. Alright, and Garingu, this guy. So now we got new dialogue from this guy. And he says, Skurapu o matomete, gathering together or all at once. Tokasidate, you say, or you'll melt it. Sonna koto, such a thing. Dekiru wake, the reason it can be done. And he says, you say you'll gather the scrap and melt it? There's no way such a thing. He says, Nai koto mo nai. It's not that there isn't a way, is there? Abian no mura ni, in Abian village, hori mete daru to you, called polymetaller, Horimetaru. Metararu. Meteraru. Yakuhin ga aru. There is a chemical. Soitsu o. That one. Tsukaeba. If you use it. Skurapu o. Tokaseru kamoshirenei na. We might be able to melt it. Tameshite micha. Why don't you try it? So he says, it's not that there isn't a way, is there? In Abion village, there's a chemical called Horimetararu. If you use that, we might be able to melt the scrap, I guess. Why don't you try it? Oh. And then he gave us Barutebo no Kagi, the key to Barutebo, so the city key. Okay. And where does that lead us? Okay. Alright, it's the key to this cave. So let's use a searchlight. There we go. And that opens up that cave. Okay. These are new ones. Skarun Rugia. Skarun Rugia. Hey, got rid of the trap. 3,000 to Sega. And we got another one here that's new. It's a Gudu, a ghoul. Oh, it's like a truck, at least on Lutz. Lutz is level 28. Nice. More tarantulas, they're not worth our time anymore. Serpents are definitely not worth our time. It still does pretty good damage even to Tyrone. We dropped an antidote. I don't think they're really worth our time though. No trap. Seda Midkundo. Serami Kundo. What was that we just picked up? It's a weapon or armor for Alice. No, it's a weapon. Oh, that's why. It's Sodo. Ceramiku Sodo. Ceramic sword. Okay, that makes sense. So let's equip that. That's a good find. Daifudu rifle. Okay. Well, let's give that to, that probably goes to Tyrone. Let's see if that hits everybody. If it does, that's good. Otherwise, I do prefer the multi-hit, even if it's going to take a hit to our damage. Let's try it out. It is single. Okay. Well, 2 shots though, that's nice. So we'll stick with the laser gun. Alright. Oh, okay. Big nose. Big nose. Big nose. I guess it's true. Oh. Big feet. Okay. Wow. These guys aren't messing around. Okay. Meow and Alice's magic is kind of fallen behind. Luckily, Lutz still has good magic. Alright. Good XP. Not worth the fight, though. Alright. Now we got Manticore Toll and Bita Spiderfly. Manticore Toe and Spiderfly. Thought there would be a town here. Maybe it's up the coast. There's a town. Nice. Doa no Muda. Let's see what all the townsfolk have to say. His name is Dorumen. Dorman. Or Dolman. He says, Taku, really or honestly. Buso na dangerous. Yono naka da yona. It's a world, isn't it? Dashiku to I, both Lashik and like Mado Dokuta to I, both Mad Doctor and Arugo no of Algol. Hey wa peace. Do shichimata ndaro. What in the world happened to it, I wonder? He says, honestly, it's a dangerous world, isn't it? Between Lassic and the Mad Doctor, I wonder what in the world happened to Algol's peace. So he's talking about the Mad Doctor. I hope that's not our doctor. He says the same thing. This guy's name is Shubadiye. He's Shubadiye. Mado Doctor ni by the mad doctor. Toraerareta was captured or seized. Otoko ga, a man. Baru Tebo no Dokutsu ni, to Baru Tebo's cave. Tsurete ikareta rashizo. It seems he was taken. Do nachima mon kana. I wonder what in the world happened to him. So he says, it seems a man was captured by the mad doctor and taken to Baru Tebo's cave, you know. I wonder what in the world happened to him. Okay, looks like we're getting single dialogue. Classic JRPG style, which is much more familiar. Okay. Her name is Tonya, so Tanya or Tonya. And she says, Taihen desu. It's terrible. Or it's an emergency. Motavia's Paseo kara, from Paseo. Shonin ga, a merchant. Mado Dokuta ni, mad doctor. Tsukamate shimatta so desu. It seems they got caught. So she says, it's an emergency. A merchant who came from Paseo in Motavia was caught by the mad doctor. She doesn't want to sell to us. Let's see. She says, Choto, just a moment. Hito Sarai ga, a kidnapper. Derute, I hear. They appear. Uwasa yo, it's a rumor. Kowai kane, isn't it scary? Shobai dokoro, the time or for business. Janai wa yo, it's not, you know. So she says, hey, lately there's rumors that kidnappers are appearing. It's not the time for business, you know. Okay. And she says, Chotto, just a moment. Anata tachi, you guys. Yoku, well or often. Irareru wa ne, you can be, can't you? Mado Dokta ni, if the mad doctor, Mitsukatara, if you are found, Taihen yo, it will be terrible, you know. Barutebo no Dokutsu ni, in Barutebo's cave. Yuhei Sarechao Dakara. You'll end up being imprisoned, you know. So she says, "Hey, how can you guys be so calm? If you're found by the mad doctor, it will be terrible. You'll end up being imprisoned in Bartebo's cave, you know?" We gotta think of an English way to say Barutebo. So we'll just say Baltebo. Because that is a weird one and I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. Alright. And she's only got one line too. He says, "Ah, wah, 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 wah. Ah, no. To, finally. Mado Doctor ni, by the mad doctor. Tsukamate was caught. Yatsuga, a fellow. Detara, if someone appeared. Rashio, it seems. Ah. Doshitara inda. What should I do? Atafuta is onomatopoeia for like panicking. And wah is also panicking. So he says, "Ah, no, finally it seems a guy got caught by the mad doctor. Ah, what should I do? Wah. So these guys are all kind of, well, not even kind of, they're all saying the same thing. Alright, let's see. This guy's name is Harisu Harris. Barutebo no Dokutsu. Baltebo Cave. O Totekitate. You came through. Toru Shokai. Shoki Kai, are you serious? Asoko wa, that place. Madodokta ni yote, by the mad doctor. Yuhei sareteiru, is being imprisoned. Hitoga, a person. Iru te hanashi da yo, I hear there's a story, you know. So he says, "You say you came through Baltebo's cave? Are you serious? I hear there's a story that a person is being imprisoned by the mad doctor, you know." Yes, I've heard that story several times, buddy. Okay, so we need to get to the cave and find the mad doctor and where he is holding this person. Let's see if any of these people will sell to us. Nope. So, back to the cave. Think. This was the guy we were supposed to save. So his name is Toraware no Otoko, imprisoned man. And he says, Tasukata, I'm saved. He says, thank goodness I'm saved. He says, Mo, already dame ka to omoteta yo. I thought I was hopeless. Konna tokoro ni, in a place like this, tojiko merarete, being confined or locked up. Honto, really or truly, ikita kokochi ga, the feeling of being alive. Shinakata yo, I didn't have. Kimitachi wa, you guys. Inochi no ojin-sa, you are my lifesavers. Hontou ni arigato, truly thank you. He says, I thought it was hopeless being locked up in a place like this. Honestly, I didn't feel alive. You guys are my lifesavers. Thank you so much. And Meow says, which is just like, yep. And he says, Nanka, somehow. Dokoka de, somewhere. Atta koto aru yo na, like I've met you before. Doko datta kana, where was it, I wonder? He says, somehow it feels like I've met you before. Where was it, I wonder? And Alice says, Itai, what in the world? Nani ga atta no desu ka? What happened? What in the world just happened? And he says, Sore ga, that kikumo namida, hearing it brings tears. Kataru mo namida, speaking of it. And he says, that hearing it brings tears to my eyes. He says, Jitsu wa, actually, watashi wa, I, na o akindo to, my name is Akindo. Mosu, humbly. Paseo no shonin toshite, a merchant of Paseo, says, actually, my name is Akindo, and as a merchant of Paseo. And Meow says, Ah, omoi dashitatsu, I remembered. Koitsu wa, this guy. Ore o, me. Kaitsukete, having purchased. Uta, sold. Yatsuda yo, it's that guy, you know? So this, he Meow says, ah, I remember this guy is the one who bought me and then sold me. Slave, trading slave, I guess. Alright. And Akindo says, heh. Sono setsu wa, at that time, osewa ni narimashita. Thank you for your kindness. He says, oh, really? Thank you for your help at that time. And Meow says, Nani ka? What? Hosewa ni narimashita. Thank you for your kindness. Dayo. It is, you know. Jako neko bai wa. The trading of civet cats. Nippana, splendid, fine, or respectable. Hanzai dazo. It's a crime, you know. He says, what? Thank you for your help are you talking about? The trading of civet cats is a serious crime, you know. And then he says, Iya, shikashi, well, however, watashimo, I also shobai desu kara ne, because I'm also in business, you see. Yurushite kudasai yo. Please forgive me, you know. He says, no, but I'm also in business, you see, so please forgive me. Alice says, sore de, and so, doshite, why, konna tokoro ni, in a place like this. So then why are you in a place like this? He says, so, that's right. Kite kudasai yo. Please listen to me. Alright, this is a big one. He says, Ine. Well, you see, anata kara, from you, Yuzuriketa received ano that potto pot mado dokuta to iu kata ga, someone called Mad Doctor, Zehi, by all means, Hoshito said he wants it. Ju oku, 10 oku, which is 10 100 million, so 1 billion. Meseta o harate mo ito, he said he would be willing to pay. Oshisharu mon desu kara, because he said it. Abian no Muramade, all the way to Avian village. Otodoke ni ukagata desu yo. I went to deliver it, you see. So he says, well, you see that pot I received from you? Someone called Mad Doctor said he definitely wanted it. Since he said he'd be willing to pay 1 billion Meseda, I went all the way to Avian village to deliver it, you see. Well, Bud, that wasn't a smart move. His name, he introduced himself as Mad Doctor, and then gave you a ridiculous price, and you went with it. So you kind of got yourself in that. That was a stupid idea. Alright, let's see. So, Shitara, then if that's the case, tondemonai, outrageous, okyaku-sama deshite. He was a customer. I don't know why he's referring to him as Sama. That's very interesting. Or maybe he's referring customer as Sama. Okay. Interesting that he still adds the honorific Sama to the Mad Doctor who kidnapped him and swindled him out of his pot. But who am I? Odaiwa, the payment. Fumi Daosu, he skipped out on pain, you know. Boryoku o Furu wa, he used violence, you know. Ageku no hate ni, in the end. Watashi o, me. Konna tokoro ni, in a place like this. Toji komete, having locked me up. Tohoho. Oh dear. Sansan na me ni atta. I had a terrible experience. To iu wake desu. That's the reason. That's how it is. So he says, then he turned out to be an outrageous customer, skipped out on the payment, and used violence. In the end, he locked me up in this place. Oh dear, so that's why I had such a terrible experience. And Meow says, which is kind of like, Jigo jitoku da yo. You got what you deserved. Okay. he says, Shitsui no don toko de, at the depths of despair. Masani, exactly. Me no mae makura. Everything was black before my eyes. Doshita mono kato, wondering what to do. Toho ni kurete ita, was at a loss. Tokoro o, just when. Anatagata ni, you all. Tasukerareta, was saved. To iu wake desu, that's the reason. So he says, at the depths of despair, everything was black before my eyes. Just when I was wondering what to do and was completely lost, you all saved me. That's the reason. Okay. Move on this conversation a little bit. Tyrone says, Fumu. Sono, that. Mado Dokuta to Yara, that so-called mad doctor. Misugosu wake ni wa ikan kana. I wonder if we can't overlook him. So he says, that so-called mad doctor. I wonder if we can't just overlook him. And Meow says, Anmari, not very much. Kinori shinai, I don't feel like it. Nah. And Meow says, I don't really feel like it. He says, Abian no Mura ni, Abian village, Gote o Kamae, built a mansion. Sore wa, that. Osama Kidori de, acting like a king. Yari tai hodai, doing whatever he wants. Te no tsukeo ga nai, there's no way to deal with it. Jotai deshite, it's in a state. So he says he built a mansion in Avian village, and he's really acting like a king, doing whatever he wants. It's in a state where there's no way to deal with it. Kin nin no Muramura mo, the neighboring villages also. Shobai dokoro ka, far from being a bit time for business. Futsu ni seikaitsu, suru no mo, even just living normally. Seikatsu, Mama naranai yosute. It seems they are not in a state where they can. So he says the neighboring villages also far from being a time for business. It seems then they are in a state where even just living normally is difficult. And Lutz says, Wakarimashita. We understand. Chodo. Exactly. Watashi tachi mo. We also. Abian no Mura to Abian village. Iku Tochu on the way to. Ashikimono o, an evil person or being. Hote oku yo na koto wa. Something like leaving alone. Shimasen yo. We won't do it, you know. So Lutz says, I understand. We were just on our way to Avion village anyway. We won't do something like leaving an evil person alone. And Alice says, So ne. That's right, you know. Dakara, therefore, anshin shite, please be at ease, or rest assured. Paseo ni okairi kudasai, please go home to Paseo. So she says, that's right, so please be at ease and return to Paseo. And he says, Hi, yes, sore wa mo, that also. Yeah, no, well, hontou ni, truly, arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you very much. So he says, yes, that's really, well, thank you very much. And Tyrone says, Mad Doctor. Holy man, that was a long conversation with so little content. Okay, we saved the guy and now we can shop here. So she has a slicer. Which lots can use. And is worse than his staff, but it attacks all the enemies. We're gonna go with that. And we'll keep the staff. And this is a wide do kudos wide cross, wild cross, and Meow can use that. Brings up his defense a little bit. Okay. Plasma barrier for lots to bring up his defense. Holy crap, does he need that? Okay. And there's leather gloves for Meow. Bring up his defense, which he needs. About butts. Okay. Pretty good weapon shop. Trimate. Sword atomizer, solar laser. Okay, so there should be a village north of here. Nice. Abion Nomura. Nice. That's what we're looking for. Alright. Talk to more townsfolk. Koko, this Abion Nomura is Abion Town. Saikin dewa, recently, Sukari completely sabirete shimaimashita. It has become desolate or run down. This is Abion village. Recently has become completely desolate. She says, Pori meteraru? Fudan nara, normally, doguya de at the tool shop. Te ni hairu, you can obtain. To omoimasu ga, I think, but imawa, now, chotto, little bit. So she says, polymetal. Usually, I think you can get it at the tool shop, but right now it's a bit. You won't sell me anything because of the Mad Doctor. Yep. Okay. She says, Sonomukashi, long ago, Kono Chiho no, the coast of this region, Kaigan wa, coast, Sangosho no, of coral reefs, Hirogaru, spreading, Utsukushi, beautiful, Tokoro datan deste, I hear it was a place. She says, long ago, I hear the coast of this region was a beautiful place of spreading coral reefs. Sono Sangosho ga, that coral reef, Wazawai shite, causing disaster. Minato ni, towards the port. Mukao Hazuno, supposed to head towards. Senpaku ga, ships. Nansekimo, many. Nanpashita te yu, they were shipwrecked. Hanashio, it's a story, you know. But I hear the coral reef caused disaster and many ships that were supposed to head towards the port were shipwrecked. Demo Jitsu wa, however, in fact, konna such itsutai mo, a legend or tradition, aru no, there is, kaimen kara, from the sea surface, kyodai na, a huge, shoksuga, tentacles, nobite kite, extending and coming from, ikakao, going back and forth, senpakuya, ships, and hamabe ni iru, people who are on the beach, hitotachi o, people, kaite ni, to the seabed, hikizuri kondan te, I hear it dragged them down. That's creepy. But actually, there's also a legend like this. Giant tentacles stretched out from the sea surface, and they dragged passing ships and people onto the beach down to the seabed. Well, what a lovely way to greet someone. She says, Dakara. Therefore, kono atari no, around here, kaigansen ni wa, on the coastline, sore o fusegu tame ni, in order to prevent that, okina iwa ga, large rocks, okarete dashi wa, it seems they were placed, I hear, demo, but honto na no kashira, I wonder if it's true. So she says, I hear that large rocks were placed on the coastline around here in order to prevent that, but I wonder if it's true. And that's her dialogue. I think it's supposed to be polymetaller. Polymetaller. It's the only thing that I can think of. Like it makes polymetal. Whatever that is. It's such a weird... We'll call it the polymetaller. Because that sounds... It's way better than polymetadaru. Over and over. So this guy's name is Mamora. And he says, Porimetaru, oh, the polymetaller, Sagashi ni, to look for, Waza waza, especially, Kite morata, had come, Nandaga, it's something, but, Imawa, now, timing, ga, the timing, warui yo, is bad, yo, so he says, to look for polymetaller, even though I had you come all this way, right, now. The timing is bad, you know. Mad Doctor. So he says it's the Mad Doctor. Okina koe ja ienai ga. I can't say it in a loud voice, but Yatsu ga kite kara to iu mono. Ever since that guy came, sanzan da yo. It's been terrible, you know. Says it's the Mad Doctor. I can't say it in a loud voice, but ever since that guy came, it's been terrible, you know. Kyatsu? I think she's talking about Meow. She says, Ara, oh, gomen nasai, I'm sorry. Kyuni, suddenly, hanashi kakerareta, was spoken to, mono dakara, because chotto, a little bit, odoroichatte, I got surprised. She says, oh, I'm sorry, it's because I was suddenly spoken to, I got a little surprised. Watashi tachi me. Sorry, not watashi tachi, just watashi te. Me. Kawaii desu yo. I'm cute, right? Desu yo. Dakara, therefore, Mado Dokta ga, the Mad Doctor, Nerateru is aiming for to omo no, I think. She says, I'm cute, right? That's why I think the Mad Doctor is targeting me. Meow says, Sonna, such liu de reason. Osotari shinai, I don't think he would. To omozo, I think, you know. He says, I don't think he'd attack you for a reason like that, you know. She says, Ara, oh dear. So kashira. I wonder if that's so. She says, Sore ni. Besides, so. No, Meow says, Sore ni. Besides, so da to shintemo. Even if that's the case, Kimi nara, if it's you, Zetai ni, definitely. Daijoubu dato, I think you'll be fine. Omo na, I think, you know. Ore, I. So he says, besides, even if that's the case, I think you'll definitely be alright, you know, me. She says, huh? She says, Warui hito tachi ga, bad people, bijo o nerau no wa, it's natural for them to target beautiful women. Tozen yo ne, it's natural. Utsukushiki koto wa, being beautiful. Nante, how or what? Fuko na no kashira. I wonder if it's so unfortunate. So she says, it's natural for people to target beautiful women, right? I wonder how unfortunate it is to be beautiful. And Meow says, Dakara. Therefore, Kimi wa, you, daijoubu datte. I'm saying you'll be alright. So he says, so I'm saying you'll be alright. So she's saying she's so beautiful, she's gonna get kidnapped, and Meow is telling her that she's not beautiful. This guy. Kuroido. Croyd. He says, eh? Huh? Mado Dokuta wa, the mad doctor. Doko ni iru no katte. You're asking where he is? Kimitachi wa, you guys. Itai. What in the world? He says, huh? You're asking where the mad doctor is? You guys, what in the world? He says, Meow says, Chijo wa, the situation. Akindo kara, from Akindo. Kita yo, I heard it. Dokutsu ni, in the cave. Tsukamaerare. Teta, had been captured. Paseo no Shonin, the merchant of Paseo. Nay, you know, right? So Meow says, I heard the situation from Akindo about the merchant of Paseo who had been captured in the cave, you know. And Croyd says, Soreja, well then. Kane o Tasuketa, you saved him. Te iu no kai. Are you saying you saved them? Him? Meow says, So sa. That's right. Kore kara. From here. Mado Dokta, or the Mad Doctor, Yatsuke ni, to defeat Ikunda. We're going to day. And so, Doko ni iru no sa. Where is he? Says, that's right. From now on, we're going to defeat the Mad Doctor. So where is he? The guy says, So, sore wa that. Wakatta. I understand. Anta ga. You. Mado Dokta, Mad Doctor. Nanda na. You're the Mad Doctor, aren't you? He says, I understand. You're the Mad Doctor, aren't you? Meow said that. Croyd says, Joel, which is like hesitation. Jodan ja arimasen yo. It's not a joke. Mado Dokuta no Yakata wa Mad Doctor's mansion. Muda no Mannaka ni, in the very center of the village. Arimas is demo, however, hori ga atte, there's a moat. Koko kara wa, from here, ikemasen, you cannot go. He says, no way, I'm not joking. The Mad Doctor's mansion is in the center of the village, but there's a moat. You can't get to it from here. And Meow says, Ja, dosun no sa. Well, then in that case, what are you going to do? He says, Yeah. No. Shikashi, however. So wa iware mashitemo, even if you say so. Manichi no koto ga atte wa, if by any chance something happens. Mura no anzen ga, the village's safety. Tyrone. Says, Oretachi, to us, makasete kurenai ka, won't you leave it to us? Ko miete mo, even though I look like this. Ore wa I Medusa Taiji o the Medusa extermination. Shio Toshite, trying to subjugate Medusa. Sono Nanda, that, what was it? So he says, won't you leave it to us? Even though I look like this, I was going to subjugate Medusa. I was trying to subjugate Medusa. That, what was it? And Meow says, shh, trying to shush him. And then Tyrone, stuttering over his name, Sono hanashi wa, that story, mazui yo, with a lot of emphasis, is bad, you know. So he says, shh, Tyrone, that's a bad topic, you know. And Alice comes in and says, Watashi tachi o, us, shinjite kudasai. Please believe us. Keshite, never, by no means. Make wa shimasen, we will not lose. Makeru wake ni wa ikanai no desu. We cannot afford to lose. So she says, please believe us, we will never lose. We cannot afford to lose. Tyrone or Croyd, ... Wakarimashita, I understand. Mura no Minami no Hazure ni, at the edge of the south side of the village. Chikado no iriguchi manhole ga, the entrance to the underground passage, a manhole. Arimasu, there is. Chikado otote ikeba, if you go through the underground passage. Mura no chushin ni, to the center of the village. Dedarimasu, you can get out or you can emerge. Mado dokta wa, the mad doctor. Sokoni is there. I understand. At the south edge of the village, there's an entrance to an underground passage, a manhole. If you go through the underground passage, you can get out in the center of the village. The mad doctor is there. Meow says, Nanda yo. What is it, you know? Saisho kara, from the beginning. Oshiete kurya ino ni. You should have just told us from the start. I agree. So Meow says, what is it? You should have just told us from the start. And Alice says, arigato, thank you. Sa, well, ikimashou, let's go. Yes, please, let's go. Boy. Alright. Whole lot of dialogue. Whole lot of dialogue. Okay. I think we will call it there for a little bit and pick this up later. And check out the Mad Doctor's house right here in the middle, his mansion right there. And there's the manhole coming out. There's the manhole coming in. So, a little bit of a lot of superfluous dialogue in this session, but you know, good for practicing, good for learning. Just maybe not the best storytelling technique, but hopefully our next one is a little more succinct. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.